Hey guys, my name is You Should Know's Rambo, and today bringing a double nuclear on the map Hijack. Just wanted to tell you about an opinion on football. Since football's on today, I wanted to give my opinion on the three greatest college football, since I prefer that over NFL. Well, let me just say, let's get to the commentary subject. So, the top three biggest college football upsets, in my opinion, so let's get to it. Number three, it has to be the classic 2007 Stanford versus number one team of the state, USC, at the time. Now, if you guys know who Pete Carroll is, if you guys are NFL people, he is one, he's a Lombardi, in my opinion. He is a genius when it comes to coaching. He's like Bob Stoops, he's a genius. And, what I mean... USC used to be untouchable, and if you don't believe me, just, dude, look back during the day, man. I mean, Sark has a chance, alright? Sark has a chance, but I don't think he can duplicate Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll can never be duplicated. He's just a great coach. He's just amazing. And he ended up leading his team to be number one until Stanford, led by the famous, the raw guy, Richard Sherman was on there. And they ended up, if you've ever seen Richard Sherman, his thing about Michael Crabtree. Oh man, it's so funny. Alright, but seriously though, USC was the number one team of the state, and they were highly expected to win against Stanford. And Stanford wasn't really trying that much. They were just, they were 23-23 and ended up kicking the field goal, and they ended up beating USC. They ended up beating USC with a field goal. So Stanford, man, I mean, they played very great that year, in my opinion. They beat the number one team of the state. That's amazing. So, yeah, so let's continue on with let's continue on with the other the top two biggest upset of all time. So, my top two is from my favorite team on college football, and you guys know I am a die-hard motherfucking OU fan. And, if you guys know, the 2001 OU-Texas game was a huge upset to Texas, because Texas was led by one of the, best quarterbacks of the state, which was Chris Sims. He led, they were both 6-0, they were both not knocked off yet, so this was a really intense game. So, OU pulled off a really amount of good plays, like, they intercepted a couple of times. Roy Williams, gave some of the, and Jason White made some really good plays. And first of all, I was a baby when this happened. So, wondering, hey, Rambo, what you know about this? There's a picture in my dad's office, or there was, and it's one of the biggest plays, in my opinion. Now, in the end of the game, this is what I love the best. In the end of the game, Bob Stoops, everyone's all intense. Texas has the ball, and they could win it. You don't know who's going to win it. 7-3, OU's up. And if Texas gets to 10-7, OU can try to score it back, but that's probably not going to happen. And a miracle happens. And that miracle was Roy Williams. Roy Williams is probably one of the best OU players, in my opinion. He's probably one of the greatest. And he leaped right on Chris Sims and shocked the audiences. He leaped right on Chris Sims. And Teddy Lehman picks up the football and scores it in for the touchdown. 2 minutes left in the game, which was ridiculous. And no one can ever duplicate that, what Roy Williams did. So, 14-3, OU ended up winning it. They didn't have the perfect season that year, but that's fine. But Roy Williams is just one of the best OU players, in my opinion. He was just great. He was a great. So, but number two is the OU upset on Texas. Now, Texas was fully favored to win, first of all. And I remember I watched it on my computer, and it said Texas was expected to win this. And, they didn't win it. And, Chris Sims got known as the Texas Sandwich because OU players really loved to sack him all the time. It was a great game, in my opinion. It was a great game. And that was back when Coach Donut, was on OU as, like, the offensive coordinator. If you don't know who that is, Mark Mangino. So, he was a great coach, but as a person, I'm not a really big fan of his after that crap he pulled with his players. So that really sucks, but, anyway, so the number one, and this is gonna be known everywhere, this is an iconic one, but the number one biggest upset of this century, by the way, is Appalachian State versus Michigan 2008. And I remember this one. And it was the first week of the season, and Michigan was ranked number 5. And Appalachian State was the underdog. And they were not expected to win at all. And miraculously, they did. They did end up winning. And how this happened, they ended up getting a 28-17 lead, and they were winning, and Michigan was trying to prevent an upset. So of course, Michigan, trying their best to try and keep them from getting the ball. And what happens is that Michigan's about to kick it. It's 34-32, and Appalachian State, it's very intense. Are they going to upset them, or are they going to, is Michigan just going to barely beat them? Well, it turns out the kick gets blocked, and the dude picks it up. Everyone's flipping out because Appalachian State just pulled off one of the biggest upsets in American college football history. Right there, right then. That was an amazing game. I remember when it happened. I was in shock when it happened. I'm like, wow, these people are really good. And they end up playing them this year, which is 2014. They beat them, of course. I thought they would. And it was I'm just like, wow. Like a couple years ago, they beat them. Like they actually they beat them. It was amazing. It's probably one of the greatest football upsets in the history of college football. They were it was a group of it was the first. I think they were the first team, like the first underdog team ever to beat a ranked team of Michigan. Now, probably they lost the next week. I'm not so sure, but that was one of the biggest upsets in the history of college football, right there. And but yeah, that was my top 3 biggest not biggest OU, but biggest college football upsets in my opinion. And well, OU's been doing really well. They got a 6-0 going. Actually a 4-0 going. Sorry, my bad. And also we are going against the surprise. We are going against next week. We are going against the great Texas Longhorns. And the Texas Longhorns. One of Matthew McConaughey is a huge Texas Longhorn fan. So if you ever watch this, Matthew McConaughey probably won't. But if you do, OU's gonna beat you guys this year. Just gonna say, OU's gonna win. So let's do this. So hopefully that's gonna work, and OU's gonna win, which they probably are. So hopefully they're gonna win. And Texas is kind of being seedy anyway without Mac Brown. So I think it was a mistake, by the way, letting Mac Brown go. But anyways, so yeah, OU, man, go on OU. Big props to Bob Stoops. In my opinion, he's one of the greats. He's one of the great coaches, like Bud Wilkinson and Barry Switzer. So yeah. So anyways, my name's been Rambo. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this college football upset informational from me. And that's just my opinion anyway. If you guys are big fans of college football and you want to put your greatest upsets in the history of college football, put it down there. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. My name's been Rambo. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.